2 seconds. Good afternoon. Listen, guys, hopefully you're enjoying your lunch today. I know that you're in for a very, very exciting time. We have with us none other than Mr. Ardifene A.D. Williams. Now, Mr. Williams is a World War II vet. He's 93 years young, guys. Yes, you heard me right. 93 years young. And I always say he is sharp as a ninja star. And you know how sharp ninja stars are, right? Now, Mr. Williams has a lot that he will share with us. He, as I've already said, he's a World War II vet. And for all of our Kappa brothers out there, this brother has been in Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated for 70 years. And might I say, just as the late Bum Phillips always said about Earl Campbell when they ask about who's the best ever running back in the league, he said it doesn't take long to call the roll. So I have to say with Mr. Williams that if he's not our oldest living Kappa across the country, then it still won't take long to call the roll. Now, Mr. Williams, guys, as you'll find out, he's a Renaissance gentleman. I mean, business owner, entrepreneur, mentor, just as many acronyms. And as all of you Southern Jaguars out there, please know and understand that Mr. Williams played an integral part in allowing Southern University to get some funds, to put some buildings on the land so that you guys can become accredited in the whole nine. And I'm sure he'll be sharing that with you. But the very first thing we want to do now is you guys didn't come to hear me. You came to hear Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you, sir.
Listen, Mr. Williams, I'm doing just great. I'm very, very happy to have you here. And you know, Mr. Williams, the very first question that I want to pose to you is in the form of a statement. Will you, sir, please share with us a little bit about your World War II experiences and how you came about going to the military?
I was drafted at 18 years old. I turned 18 December 9th, 1943. In March, I was wearing uniform. In my basic training at Camp Claiborne, Louisiana, 1334 engineers. Our serial number was 3865 3643. And from that, we did my basic training there. When the war ended with Germany, those who were in heavy equipment were sent overseas. We went out to different camps, so we were sent to Camp Shelby, Mississippi, from Alexander, Louisiana, Camp Claiborne. And we stopped at a cafe in Ruston at that time. Truman had not integrated the army at that time, so we had on big, pretty uniform. We couldn't go in that front door to get a hamburger and a hot dog. But there was a white soldier who was nice enough to go in that door. We could go in the back door and get anything we wanted to eat, up plenty of it. But that uniform, even though we were there for America, would let us in that front door. So, wow, that's part of my life. But now, wow. I'm old-fashioned now. My daddy used to always say, now, spend all your time making friends. You ain't got to make the enemy. He's self-made. Just be satisfied you didn't make it. And go on about your business. So I don't have any enemies. I might be somebody's enemy. I can help that. But I don't have it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen.
And that's the honest and
may I ask, May I ask this question?
Yes, sir.
As you share with us, you don't have any enemies, and that's great to know. Most of the time, those of us that are a few years younger, some of us have had experiences seeing documentaries talking about colored and white entrance and all of that. But with you having lived through it, and with you in the military, putting your life on the line, same as your white counterparts, would you share with us some of your personal feelings about the situation, not about individuals? You've already shared that you don't have any enemies, and you said that your dad taught you to spend your time making friends, but to actually be in a situation where you, just like anyone else, could have lost your life at any second, but you still had to endure having someone say to you, even by a sign, that you would have to use a rear entrance as opposed to going through a regular entrance like everybody else. How did that affect you as a person, if it affected you at all?
Let me say this. I'm old-fashioned. My great-grandmother was living when I went to the army. But she used to sing, tell us about a song, the Lord will make a way somehow. So if you have meanness that hurts your heart, God gave you love. You love all of them. Even if they don't love you, you do good. And the Lord will bless you. That's my grandma's stuff. And so I go with my great grandmama said, I won't go anywhere to do any business unless I put the Lord in front of me. When I get to the place where I'm supposed to do the business, I find out he's already been there.
Okay.
Open the door. So what's faith? It'll move mountains.
Wow.
So it makes you, the strong faith makes you free. You can't solve the problem with meanness. God is love.
Yes, sir.
If you got him, time for meanness.
You just said something very, very powerful, Mr. Williams. That strong faith makes you free. So as you're sharing with your faith in the Almighty Father, so those signs that were put up purposely to say that you're not good enough to go through this door took a back seat to your faith.
That's all. Yes, sir.
Okay.
See, I know I'm good enough for him.
Yes, sir.
I'm good enough for the Creator.
Yes, sir.
And I make testimony anywhere I go. Look, a man can do anything, but be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sowed, there she also reap. So hey, that's his problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, that's up to you.
All right. Well, listen, after your stint in the Army, did you attend college before you went to the Army or after getting out?
After getting out of the Army. I went from high school into the Army. I was a senior, and they drafted me. You couldn't get a deployment. They drafted me at my senior year in high school. So I went to college after I got out of the Army. And we got what we call the GI Bill of Rights. I went on the GI Bill of Rights, but Southern University.
Okay.
So my choice was my sister doing that. At Southern University was my choice. So I went there on the GI Bill of Rights.
Okay. Now, upon entering Southern, what field of study did you enter?
What year at Southern?
What? Yes, sir. The year and what did you study while there?
I studied in the Southern. I was in industrial education, industrial arts, you might call it.
Yes, sir.
Phase of engineering, and I went in 1944 and 1944, 45. I think it was 45.
Wow. Wow. Now, I know that there are so many things that you have to share as we're going to go through. I have a gentleman on here that's here with us. I'm trying to get him to come on camera with you. His name is Crosby, and he says that you were his mentee, and he's giving you your props, saying that you were truly a trailblazer. He says you still have a lot to offer the nation. And I wanted to share that to the world, that one of your mentees, Brother Crosby, is saying that you still have a lot to share to the nation, and we certainly feel that way as well. So as we segue on into the next question, I know that you've mentored and helped so many young people. Is there one or two things you express upon them when you meet them and you start to mentor them?
Always honor the father and your mother, that your days will be long on the face of the earth that the Lord God gives thee. And in all the ways acknowledge him and let him direct your path. And I wasn't afraid to talk about the Lord in my classroom, but I knew where the foundation was. Now, I don't care what kind of law they passed. We prayed in our class every Monday morning so we'd be taken care of during the week. Because we were using the machinery that could cut your finger off in the shop there, but we prayed for the Lord to take care of us. And we wanted him to clean up, make it look good. And my thing to him was cleanliness, some of this next to godliness. You can't say you got God and you're filthy. Clean up. And we're going to do it like this.
All right.
And Crosby, I know I've known him all his life. I worked with Crosby's grandfather. Crosby's grandfather was the best carpenter in this area.
Okay.
And as a young teacher in woodworking, I worked for Crosby's grandfather during the summer as a carpenter and did plans, house plans for him because I was pretty good on the drawing board. So I could do plans for houses. And I had a blueprint machine in the shop, and we do that. And we went along good with that. But Crosby was a good student, and but he had somebody at home to make him be good. Oh man, Shingle didn't take no food. And he knows that. I can't tell you what he said he would, but he would do it.
Yes, sir. Okay. You know, as you share that with us, and as you give Brother Crosby his props as well, you know, I'm looking at some information that you and I discussed once. That I was blessed to sit in your office, and you were sharing about a gentleman, Mr. A.J. Coleman, and he was, and you were sharing some things about Mr. A.J. Coleman and the voting. Will you share a little bit of that with us, please, sir? Mr. A.J. Coleman was the first black person to vote in Haynesville.
That's correct. First one to vote in Haynesville.
Yes,
the
sir.
First black school board member we had in this area. Mr. Coleman was very energetic, and he was the founder of a little group we call Community Improvement Organization. And we were trying to get people to join so we could do something in our community. We didn't have a paved street in our community when I came here. It wasn't a paved street here. When I got off the bus coming here to go start teaching school, the cab driver was called Dizzy. But he asked me, I didn't know no address. I just gave him the name of where I wanted to go down near the schoolhouse. He said, oh, you want to go to church quarters. But everything was the quarters. And when he turned off Highway 79 down on McDonald Street, that dust was an inch thick. That's my favorite. So I stayed with a man named Mr. Oscar Amos. A.J. Coleman was working for Mr. John Hatter's cleaners, had a cleaner there. And we were just talking one day, and he said, you know, we need to just organize and see if we can't go to the town and get something done about these streets and this. So we organized, and we weren't trying to bulldoze anybody. We appealed to the intellect and the need. Mm-hmm. And if you can get the heart, you can get the mind. So let's work on his heart. We ain't here to fight and raise sand.
Right.
Let him devil with us. But the truth will make you free.
Right.
And if he's in the kind of man, he won't deny the truth. So we start going to the leaders of this town. And A.J. Coleman was the president of that group. Willie James was the secretary. I don't know what the hell it means. I was just a member. but I was the only teacher with Johnny because the teachers were afraid to join because they thought they'd lose a job if they joined something trying to work with civil rights and the community. So, hell, I'm a veteran now. I joined it.
Okay.
Where they went. And so I was called in one time about my activity, and I might lose my job. I told him, hell, I can't say what I said on the phone, but I can't say what's anyway, I stayed with them. I got deeper into it then.
Okay.
So we would always go to city council meetings and discuss with the mayor and go to the Representative Garrett's business, talk with him. But anyway, we go to not to bulldoze or try making about doing things out of your kindness and your goodness. We wanted to make a friend wherever we went.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something. It'll work. If you put the man upstairs ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
It'll work. And some old men who used to talk to us kind of mean, finally said, let me know. Well, let me handle it.
Yes, sir.
And always take it to them. And now the mayor was a good mayor after we talked to him. And he found out that we were human beings too.
Yes, sir.
Do it my way. Well, if he's going to do it, all we want is it done. And we got these streets paved. We used to have to go to the post office and stand in line with general delivery. We started getting mail service and lights and everything else, but that was because Mr. A.J. Coleman had the foresight, and he was a veteran.
Okay.
And Mr. James was a veteran. We had the foresight to try to go and get something done, but not through meanness, not through activities. My thing was, don't let them make you mad.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Coleman, sometimes he loses patience a little bit. He said, well, let Brother William talk to them. He got sense enough to get mad. He got sense enough to get mad.
Okay. So you had not only yourself, but there were 2 more World War II veterans with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 more World War II veterans. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But what the change that took place, the folk that we went in to that was kind of standoffish, we were persistent about what we were doing, but respectful.
Yes, sir.
We didn't go there to make you do it out of the decency of your heart.
Yes, sir.
And it was known, because I remember one time A.J. Coleman told the mayor at that time was named Mr. Tolman, Mr. Henderson, he said, we have worn a uniform of the bravest country known to man. And come back home and can't raise some votes. He said, you know it ain't right. And he pointed his finger at Mr. Face. He said, you know it ain't right. You know it ain't right. And some did something to Mayor Henderson that pricked him. We had you worn a uniform. This is the bravest country in the world. And we'll come back home, we can't vote. You see, and Mr. Henderson took that. And he never backed up from being said, we got to come and let's talk about it. Come and let's talk about it. Then you mentioned something but that would have a problem. We go to the leader of the town. We didn't have to get out of the streets. No, that's it couldn't be self-defeating. You go where the power structure is. Go to the president, bank, state representative, mayor, and get them on your side. Let them agree with what is right. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take advantage of anything. We'll do what's right. We're human too. But A.J. Coleman was the one that opened up that door with old man Henderson. So Mr. Tom Henderson told him, and he's been dead for years now. He said, Coleman, I'm going to tell you what to do to get a vote. But if you say I told you, I'm going to say it's your word against my word. You know what that means. But A.J. was the first one ready to vote, and what old man Henderson told him.
Wow.
And I was in school, so it finished really. And we were having some problems with accreditation. Dr. E.C. Harrison was over there industrial education department at this time. But later on, he was head of the engineering department, and he moved over as an aide to the president, Dr. Clark. And that was when the students were demonstrating down there at Southern. And they were sitting in the cafe and all that kind of stuff, and having a lot of problems. So I remember they had asked some members of the legislature in that area, Baton Rouge area, for funding to help to get Southern accredited for accreditation. So they were called around to different alumni members. Dr. Harrison knew me, and I went over in the industrial education department. I was my office fellow, but I tried to do my work and try to be kind to everybody. But they asked me who was my representative up here. I told them, Mr. John Sidney Garrett.
John Sidney Garrett.
John Sidney Garrett. I said, do you know him? I said, yeah, I know him. He said, well, do you think you could talk to him and see if he'd let us come up there and talk with him about some problems at Southern University? I said, yeah, I'll talk to him. So I went to see Mr. Garrett, and he said, yes, tell him, come on up here. Be glad to talk with him. But what happened, Mr. Garrett didn't know my name. He knew I was a shop teacher. And his mother loved to fish. They had a little pond at the edge of town. I had an old cyclist boat. And she loved to fish, but she couldn't have fish or dip in the water out of the boat. So he asked me, you be a shop teacher? My mama got a boat. I wonder if you could fix that boat so it won't leak. I got my pickup, went over on the pond and pulled that boat out to the shop. I got some pitch and cypress wood, and I fixed the bottom of that boat. And when I got through putting that pitch in the bottom of that boat, Miss Gary could sit in that boat and fish without dipping water. Now, that was the beginning of my relationship with Mr. John Sidney Garrett.
Okay.
So when I went to him, he was so appreciative of my fixing the boat for his mother. Little things mean a lot if you do them in the right way. And just fixing that boat so his mama could fish, I could go to him and talk to him about something real big. So I went to him to talk. So when he gave me a date to tell them when they could come and he would be glad to meet with them, they came here from Baton Rouge. And so when they came here, everything that they told him they wanted, he took it down. When they went back to that legislature, he was the only man that came up and said yes to Felton G. Clark at Southern University, because the other kids were demonstrating down there. But we got new buildings and everything else because of State Representative John Sidney Garrett. It started all over me being able to fix a little old wooden boat with mother fish in. Wow. That started that relationship. Wow. Little things, if you do them kind. Little seedling. Old folks will make some tea taste good. So it established a relationship with Mr. Garrett. And it lasts with the Garrett family now. So some of them call me family, member of the Garrett family, but they're nice folk. But Mr. John Sidney Garrett, who they thought wouldn't do a thing. Some jokers down in Baton Rouge area didn't do a thing for Southern. Mr. John Sidney Garrett put his voice in there. Got that money for Dr. Clark to be the accreditation.
Wow.
We're so appreciative. And a lot of folks don't know about this. We're trying to make a big thing of it. But I got Dr. Harrison wrote when Mr. Gary passed. Dr. Harrison, I wrote Dr. Harrison and told Mr. Gary to pass. And he wrote a letter back for me to give to the Garrett family about what Mr. John C. Garrett had done for Southern University, and to express their appreciation for all the good things he's done.
Yes.
So if you're here, it doesn't take, if you keep your heart right, you'll be led right. And those who you thought would be bitter against him, he was the one man. Yeah. He got all that money for something to build buildings and everything.
Wow.
Right here, the man right up Cape Parish.
Okay. Listen. We are very blessed to have the young man that was mentored by you, Brother has us on the screen, and we're very happy to have him. But as we, Brother Crosby, thank you for being with us. And if you would like to, right now, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
We have talked about all of the other great men in Haynesville and at Southern University, Mr. Williams. But now, will you share with us about some of your expertise there? I mean, I know that you're a business owner, Mr. Williams. I know you're a business owner. You have a lot of money, and you do so many other things. Share with us a little bit about that.
Well, all I can say is that you're interviewing a very important man who has been in my life ever since he probably tell you, he's been knowing me all my life. And so he's more than even a father. He's a friend of mine. And he's, as I say, he's a mentor. And not only me, but Mr. William has impacted not only his children's lives, but all the lives of women and men there in Claiborne Parish. In fact, in the state of Louisiana. Mr. William, you know I love you, and there's a very reason he's been close to my heart all throughout elementary school, high school, my post-college tenure. But I just wanted to just say, Mr. William, you probably don't know how significant you has been for a treasure for the people there in Claiborne Parish, and certainly in Haynesville. But Mr. William don't talk about it a lot. But Mr. William had mentored students who went on to work for NASA as engineers and physicists. Myself as an engineer, although I didn't work for NASA, but I built nuclear power plants, all from learning from my grandfather and father and Mr. William in industrial arts there in Haynesville, Louisiana. So I'm not going to take the time because this is Mr. Williams' time, but certainly he's a national treasure, and I'm glad this is one means of getting it out to the nation that he's indeed a national treasure. Mr. William probably won't tell you about his, I believe your grandfather, Mr. William, who served in the Civil War with the Confederates. So
wow.
Mr. William goes, but his family history goes back a long time in the service of this nation. He can tell you more about it. I believe it's his grandfather. He showed me his sword that he had as a Confederate soldier from the Lake Providence, Louisiana area. But he's not only that, he talks about the early beginnings of the civil rights there in Haynesville, which they were. As a matter of fact, my grandfather was part of that Haynes Improvement Center, and I believe he was a treasurer for that group back in the 1950s. I remember when my grandfather and my grandmother registered vote in the 50s. You're talking about gerrymandering these days. They were living in the same house, but at their age, they were not sleeping in the same bed. So they divided our house into two different precincts.
Wow. Okay.
Same ward, but two different precincts. So this is how, the same thing that we are fighting today. People like Mr. William and my dad and grandfather, grandparents were there in Haynesville fighting the same fight that we find ourselves fighting it today. We call it gerrymandering today. Well, they was doing that back in the 50s in Louisiana, in Cleveland Parish specifically during that time. But you know, Mr. William also mentored, and I don't know, Mr. William, have you talked about Douglas Kirkpatrick? Douglas Kirkpatrick got his start right there under Mr. William. Just as he was graduated from high school, Douglas Kirkpatrick, I believe, may have graduated a year before Mr. William got there. However, he came back to teach and to legislate under Mr. William. The group got him back to take over our summer program for the youth in Haynesville, Louisiana. That's, you know, Douglas Kirkpatrick was the one started the Deacons for Defense. But all that is began people like Mr. Williams. But as again, Mr. Williams can tell you more about Douglas. But he impacted Douglas along with myself and others there in Haynesville. So he's a jewel for us.
That's wonderful. That listen, Mr. Crosby, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of those jewels with us, because I certainly had no idea. And as Mr. Williams is waiting on us to stop talking, you know, having his grandfather fighting in the Civil War for the Confederates, and all of us have seen the movie. Most of us, the Deacons for Defense, and to know that Mr. Douglas Kirkpatrick was an integral part of that, who was mentored by Mr. Williams and yourself, of course, about being an engineer. If you share with us a little bit about your location and what you presently do.
I'm a consultant for engineering and risk management, civil engineering.
Oh wow! Okay, that's
for the last 38 years.
Okay.
I'm out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Ann Arbor, Michigan. In this world small. The wife and I have lived in Ypsilanti. We've lived in Adrian. Man, we I hate I didn't know you when we were there.
Yes, we've been here. Came here in '69.
Okay, well that's great. Listen, after we get off the air, I'd love to continue the conversation and make with you so that we can at least contact with one another.
I'll be happy to. No question.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
I know that you have to be very proud of this young man, and he's taken time to come out and share some things with us. Will you please, sir, tell us a little bit about your laundromat business and all some of the other things that Mr. Ardifene AKA A.D. Williams is still involved in?
Crosby brought up so much. These young minds can go way back. I have a laundromat, been a laundromat business now for 52 years. I made it wasn't a mistake. I just went to do some cleaning in the laundromat on Main Street. And I asked, my thing was, what the hell you mean where I belong? I have a little army in me there, and the lady who was caretaker that went and got the city marshal, Mr. Paulson James, to put me out of that laundromat. But he came to the door and looked at me and turned around. I said, you might take me out, but I'm sure the hell ain't walking out, not today. Not today. I'm gonna stay and do my kids' clothes. And I stayed there. And let me tell you what the Lord will do for you. On my way back, I'm satisfied that I've got my clothes clean, all kinds of stuff. So I'm saying, well, now look, you're up there willing to die in this man's laundromat. Get up off your butt and do something for yourself. And here's my right hand. I went by the bank. Mr. Jacob Akron was the president of the bank then, or acting as president. But I went and told him what I wanted. He thought I was crazy. He said, I said, no. I said, I want to borrow some money to build a laundromat. He said, well, hell, you got one down there. I said, no, you got one down there. I said, what do I have one? I said, I want some money. He said, you serious about this? I said, I'm just as serious as a heart attack, Mr. Jacob. And let me tell you what the Lord will do. You just put him in front of you. He'll open that door.
Yes, sir. Let
me tell you something. He said, well, let me see what we can do. A couple of weeks later, he called me back and said, A.D., so what you doing? I said, bring so-and-so up here. Mr. Jacob talk to her. I went up there. He had gotten, he said, I want you to take this out to the C.D. Gulling House, small business in Marshall, Texas. We're going to try to build that blame laundromat for you. I carried that application out there and got Jerry West, who was a powerful musician in Washington, D.C. now. But they went out there with me. They okayed the loan. The bank said, if they okay the loan, we'll invest the money. So that's how we built that laundromat. And I've been there 52 years in the laundromat. Then I added on there, grocery was going out of business, so I added another addition on there for grocery business. So we had laundromat, grocery, and gas. But the grocery business didn't turn out too good because we got a lot of groceries. And you do this consistently. Some folks won't do it until they don't do it. So I couldn't afford to keep the store open. So we closed the grocery store, but I put my antique shop there. And it's there now.
Right.
But Crosby's grandfather was a strong supporter of me, and he had this everyday common sense, but he was good at what he did. He was the best carpenter in this area. We called him over Shangleby. But but I took him as a father, and he was just as nice as he could be. And when he found out I could do house plans, I started drawing plans to him. It increased his productivity in doing carpentry work because what he discussed with somebody, we could show it to him on paper. On the drawing board.
Wow.
So, but we just had to put the dots together, and you can find the promised land.
Wow.
Put the dots together, you can find the promised land.
What a powerful story, though, Mr. Williams. Please allow me to say that people have a tendency, regardless of what race, creed, or color, to dismiss legacies. Sadly, people of color seem to be more comfortable dismissing legacies. And you are certainly, just as Brother Crosby has already said, a legend. I mean, there is no other way to put it. You are a legend. And to have gone through and dealt with all the things that you've dealt with during, quote, those times, unquote, because many of those times are still here, and to be able to tell your story, to be able to be successful at being a business owner, mentoring young men and women, seeing to your children, being that determined to make sure they have some, I mean, just that part of the story in and of itself is extremely powerful. And as Brother Crosby alluded to, that your grandfather was a soldier in the veteran in the Civil War.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you, his name was Charlie Wright.
Charlie Wright.
Charlie Wright was his name. He was in the Battle of Vicksburg.
The Battle of Vicksburg.
It had to do with the Grand Canal. That was a canal behind the town of Lake Providence, would enter into the Mississippi River. They were digging Grant's Canal. It was being dug by hand. They were digging that canal from the lake to the river. And if in Lake Providence, that's right across the river in Mississippi. They were digging that canal, so when the Union soldiers would go up that river, they would come out of that canal and attack the Union soldiers. But my great-grandfather met my great-grandmother, Amanda Wright. She was named Amanda Johnson. She was a nurse that cooked in Bannock rooms during the Civil War. And they married. She was Amanda Johnson. My great-grandfather came out of Alabama on into in there with that Confederate Army. And his tombstone on the lake of the Evergreen Cemetery got stars and bars on this tombstone. He died in 1920.
Wow.
But his name was Wright.
Wow.
And my great grandmother's wife, well, she was I was five years old when she died.
Okay.
But I was told that my mama and my auntie was her grandchildren. She would walk them to the school. They didn't have no school for us then in town. She walked, this old woman would walk them to the school every morning and go back and get them every evening.
Mm-hmm.
And they both of them got to the 8th grade reader, they call it.
Yes.
But that old lady would walk them from the house and take them to school and go back and meet them. Nobody mess with her grandchildren. That was the man right there said she was being fair, but she was my great grandmother. And so that was the kind of environment I grew up in. And I tell them now, my loss, my great grandfather lost a leg in the Civil War.
Okay.
Had an uncle named Sam Cunningham. Died with TB during World War I. I lost 3 cousins during World War II.
Wow.
So we paid our price as a family for trying to defend what America stood for.
Wow.
And that's what I came up here. But you got to keep that faith, look, because God said, without me, you're nothing.
Yes, sir.
And look, when sometime we think we can do it. But without me, boy, you ain't nothing. But in all the ways that you want to let him direct your path.
Yes, sir.
I think the book spoke about little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Uh-huh.
I used to tell the kids in the shop, cleanliness, let's clean up.
Yes, sir.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yes, sir.
Well, they want to do the world an unclean temple.
Yes, sir.
Let's clean up.
Okay.
Let's clean up.
Now, may I ask this question? Your grandparents' last name, was it spelled W-R-I-G-H-T or R-I-G-H-T?
W-R-I-G-H-T.
W-R-I, okay. And listen, we have got to talk about that Crimson and Cream. Please tell me about your 70-year stint being a Kappa man, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. How did that come about?
How did go back? How did it come about being a Kappa man for 70 years?
Yes, sir.
Well, when I went to Southern, they were looking around. I got the Omega, Alpha Phi Alpha, and Phi Beta Sigma. We just look around. And as a freshman, you say, I like that, I like this, I like, and so you look out, point your finger, what you like, kind of, no. So as the thing kind of wound down, I found the fellows over there in Cadillac, they have a lot of fun.
Okay.
And it's real man-like, and like sports. Like them girls and everything else. So I said, well, I want to be with them. I want to be with them. So I got in the pledge club. Then a pledge was named Roscoe Moore. He was from Grambling, Louisiana, but he was a Southern University student. And so I finally, I didn't make it my first semester of pledging. I finally made it that second semester, and I was initiated. They were mean to me.
They were mean.
The big old brother in the stadium. His name was Robert Smith. He was a coach. Big Smitty, we called him. He was a coach, and he knew me well, and we were good friends. But they took out that night during the initiation. They worked you over, and I told them, they can't make me cry.
Okay.
I said that. You know what? They didn't make me cry for what they put on my back, what they did to my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I threatened some things I was going to do when I get out of here, something, but I didn't want to cross the line.
Yes.
So I went on across the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And where the fellow named Walter Banks, he was a nice fellow, sang just good. Walter Banks could sing. And at that time, we had a bunch of football players from New Orleans were brothers. And our grade average dropped down rather low. Because what happened, a lot of those brothers, they were playing football, but wasn't going to class making no grades.
Okay.
So that had an effect on us when they put the grade fund for fraternity. So we called a meeting, and the president said, what we're going to do, we're going to make these guys inactive, good football players, we're going to make them inactive. And that's what it costs to act a fool. We're going to make them inactive. And we pulled that grade point up to one of the top leading fraternities on the grade point at Southern University at that time. But now what it was, we looked on the inside of us, didn't blame nobody. So we organized a tutorial staff. So now we're brothers, we got to help one another. Matthew Crawford was good at math. If you got a problem with math, go to Matthew Crawford. A.D. Johnson, good at social studies, go to him. So whichever a brother was good at, you go there to that brother and let him help you with your lesson. First, I tutored in draft in 2 years. If you drafted, go to Ardifene with. Well, we help one another, and that's what not who can bug dance and all this kind of stuff. I see them strutting with that stick now. I said, well, when you get through strut, then what?
Right.
Then what? But we helped one another. That's what the thing is. Brothers, you're gonna let your brother go down, and you can help him.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him on here and say, let's help him. So that's when we started. And Crawford, Matthew Crawford, A.D. Johnson, Lars Johnson. Yes, they were top of the jokers on the thing, but Matthew Crawford finally became the head of the math department. The Southern, he was a brother. He had a math department. Okay. But it was because we worked. And so if it's your brother, treat him like your brother.
Right.
Don't have them too good for him.
Okay. Well, listen.
If you got something too good for him, you better get rid of it.
Okay.
So we shared learning and learning experience. And the capital started leading. And I tell myself, I don't like to stump it now because I don't see anything it does. But you know, you can stump, wave your stick. Yes, sir. All right. But brother, I like that. We were going down for it. And look, the Coach Mumford was a capital brother. Dr. J. Warren Lee that was in the Vice Department was a capital brother. The Dean E.C. Harrison was a capital brother. And I could name several more of them whose names I can't really call now, but we had the strength there. All we had to do is come together and use it. Let's act like brother. I didn't become a member of Kappa just for the good it's gonna do me. Mm-hmm. I can't remember capital but I could do to somebody else and help somebody. So it made me more of a brother.
Yes, sir.
To the young man I taught.
Yes, sir.
Our father, because of Cap Avocide. Okay.
Brother Williams, maybe I'll say this. We just want to thank and welcome Brock and our Michaela. And we have a guest here who choose not to identify themselves. They don't have to. Now, we have Brock saying, hey, Paul. And I'm sure you know who Brock is. So we also want to offer our guests. It's about time for us to close the show, Brother Williams. But I would like to extend to our guests that have come, if they would like to grab one of the cameras, where say grab this spot, if they want to say something to you personally, FaceTime you, we do want to give them that opportunity to do that. Michaela's coming on, and Brother Brock, if you want to grab the other camera.
Grandpa.
Michaela, go ahead, sweetheart.
Grandpa.
Hey.
Hey, Papa.
Hey, baby, how you doing? I can't do it any better. As long as you don't hear what's supposed to be, I can't do it no better than that. All right? Now let's talk baby. Look, this is my great granddaughter. Oh, this is Toy Baby.
Your great granddaughter. How are you doing, Miss Michaela? Fantastic. Fantastic. And you also have Brock. Now, Brock, feel free to come on if you want to FaceTime Williams, and then we're about ready to close this show out.
Okay.
Hey, Paul, just want to say
what's up, Brock? Now, this is one of the finest young men you'll ever be. Right here.
Is that right?
Look, he didn't find us. I found him. I said, boy, you're a natural born Kappa man.
Okay.
You work and you're not cocky and you're persistent and you want to do it well. I said, hell, you want. You just let me know when you want to go.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any graduate chapter you want, I'll put my reputation up against and tell them who you are, what you are.
Yeah.
And I kept doing it. I said, look, don't waste your time. You got all attributes of a good cavalry.
Yeah.
And so I encouraged him. And he came across what it's saying.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Brother Brock, is there anything you want to share with Brother A.D. Williams here?
I just want to tell Paul, thank you for everything that you've done for me. As a young man growing up in Haynesville, gave me some in my house. Thank you. Keep doing. Love you. Thank you for your service.
Okay, fantastic, Brother Williams. I want to thank for our visitors for being here. It's time for us to close this show, and we definitely want to say yo to the young brother that's here with us, brother Brock, and obviously to you and to your granddaughter, Kayla. And we have thousands of guests, Brother Williams. We have thousands of guests that are watching you right now. And on my other screen, they're sending up a lot of hearts and a lot of thumbs up, etc. So I just want you to know this has been a very enriching and rewarding experience, and I am just so blessed and so proud to know you, sir. And I know that you don't do a lot of social media like we do. However, I do have some people asking they watch this or get a copy of this, so we just want to let them know that this will definitely be on YouTube. It'll definitely be on Facebook, so they can go back and watch this again, and we can also send them a link to this show. So again, I just want to thank you so very much about being here with us, Brother A.D. Williams. Do you have any closing words you'd like to share?
Anything else you'd like to say?
I want to say Brock's mother has been here with me for 10 years, 30 years.
Okay.
And she my boss. And tell me, Mama, come to me, old man, sometime, you know. That's what I say.
That's great. Listen.
Sister, I told you about that. I said, she gonna whoop my, she gonna whoop my, go back up
there. And you know what? I know that you and Miss Yolanda got it all under control, and we're just very happy. Sir?
Let me tell you this now. Did Yolanda tell you who her daddy was?
No, sir.
A.J. Coleman was her daddy. The man who started us off. This thing. A.J. Coleman. That's it down the. I've been doing it since 4 years. I said, I know what your gal for you was born. My
okay.
Now.
All right. Now. Okay. Mr. A.J. Coleman is Miss Yolanda's dad.
That's right.
Man. That's powerful. That is powerful. Well, listen, it is time for us to close. And listen, guys, we want to thank everybody for joining the Nobody Asked Me Guys show. I'm your host, Melvin Lars. And listen, we want to invite you back tomorrow. Yeah, we have a twofer. Tomorrow, we have Dr. Delene Muslak. Dr. Muslak is a pediatrician. Dr. Muslak will be back tomorrow. She'll be with us at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. She'll be not only talking about children and health issues, she also will be talking about her new book called Tripsies. She has triplets, and she'll be back with us on that. Now, next Friday, the 16th, we normally debut on Fridays. Next Friday on the 16th, we have attorney Robert Reed from the NAACP. Dr. Reed will be on talking to us about the importance of the NAACP. He'll be talking about voting and voter rights. He'll also be discussing with us and explaining to you about the electoral votes. There are a lot of questions about that. So we always like to educate and inform our audience and to help you guys understand very, very simply that do not be fooled, do not be misled. There's still a lot of work to do when it comes to equality, when it comes to getting our rightful place in these great Americas. So please join us not only tomorrow to hear Dr. Delene Muslak. Dr. Muslak, as I said, is a pediatrician, and you can FaceTime her and ask any questions you might have. And then next Friday on the 16th, 7 o'clock p.m., we're going to have attorney. I want to call him doctor. Well, he is a doctor, honestly, academically. But we'll have attorney Jerome. I think I called him Robert earlier. We have attorney Jerome Reed he's an NAACP National Field Representative. And he'll be talking with you about a lot of topics, especially voting, the Voter Rights Act, and about the electoral vote. So, guys, again, this is the Nobody Asked Me Guys show with your host, Melvin Lars. We want you to come back and join us. Listen, we want everybody to know that you can contact us at www.dyingonmyfeet.com. www.dyingonmyfeet.com. Once you get there, you can find all of our social media outlets. And one last thing, we want you to purchase that book, Mothers and Their Men, an introspective look at mothers rearing their sons. We ask a very pensive question. We want you to join the conversation. Am I my mother's son or my father's mistake? So we're going to talk about that second elephant in the room.
All right, man.
We're going to talk about that second elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss. That's Mothers and Their Men, an introspective look at mothers rearing their sons. And I shake men up all the time because I want the question answered. Am I my mother's son or my father's mistake? So, guys, listen, with that, you have a great, great day. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Brother A.D. Williams. And again, guys, you guys are blessed to have a treasure in your presence on this screen. World War II veteran. The brother is 93 years old. He's a businessman. He's a mentor. He's just a great, 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 great human being. And we've all been blessed to have this young man in our lives and in our presence. So with that, we bid you adieu. Please come back tomorrow night, 7:00 p.m. You may have some questions for Dr. Muslak, and certainly I'm sure you have some questions for Dr. Reed, Attorney Reed, NAACP Field Representative. Have a great and blessed day. Last thing I want to say, Brother Ardifene A.D. Williams, it's been a blessing. Have a great day.
My joy. I don't know what to do without you.